Everybody, I call to order today's JPS meeting. It's November 21st, 8 a.m. Can I get a roll call, please?
Chair Evans.
Here.
Member Chaplin. Member Childress.
Yes.
Member Desart.
Here.
Member Ecka. Member Guston.
Here.
Member Krajewski. Member Ozog. Member Schwarzy. Member Tornatori.
Here.
Member Yu.
Here.
Member Zay.
Okay, thank you. And then do we have any public comment?
No, we don't.
Okay, thank you. For my chair remarks, I just wanted to wish everybody a good morning and start the meeting by making a few comments about some items on the agenda. The Director of Probation and Court Services, Bob McKellen, was kind enough to send me an email about one item in particular, and I thought it was beneficial to share his comments. Item 6C is for an IGA between probation and the health department to provide services for 2 mental health programs. The health department provides a dedicated therapist to coordinate and provide all mental health services to the probationers in each of the programs. These services include screenings, assessments, psychiatric evaluations, individual, family, and group therapy, medication management, and crisis intervention. The therapist also coordinates other services as needed, such as inpatient residential treatment and housing. The health department therapist is a member of the specialty court MyCap team and attends all MyCap court dates and weekly staffing sessions with probation. Their expertise in the evaluation and treatment of those suffering from mental health issues has been instrumental in the success of both MyCap and SNAP. Between both programs, around 150 probationers per year receive the necessary mental health services. I'm very supportive of these items, and I am appreciative of the work being done across the street. Second, I wanted to make a brief comment regarding 6D, the lease for the sheriff's office for a storage facility. I'm appreciative of the sheriff's office and looking to find an alternative storage solution while we determine a long-term solution at the former DOT facility. This 5-year lease will allow us enough flexibility and time to ensure a more permanent solution can be found. And with that, I would accept a motion to approve the November 7th, 2023 committee meetings minutes. Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. And let's see, we're on to Item 6, procurement requisitions. Can I get a motion to approve JPSP 006923, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Krista M. Winters of the law firm of Antonelli, Cerny and Winters PC to provide professional services as a conflict attorney assigned to juvenile cases for the period of December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2024 for a contract total amount not to exceed $42,000. Any questions or comments on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve JPSP 007023, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to William G. Warbeck, attorney at law, to provide professional services as a conflict attorney for the 18th Judicial Circuit Court for the period of December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2024. For a contract total amount not to exceed $47,400. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get an item to approve JPSP 007123, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to the DuPage County Health Department to provide mental health services for the mentally ill probationers for probation and court services for the period of December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2024 for a contract total amount not to exceed $208,000. Any discussion on that? Okay, Member Ozog.
I assume this is just based on hourly use of the services of the consultant. Is that, it's not for specific hires? Or, no, it's not
The
consultant.
contract
I'm sorry,
covers, the
not a
contract,
consultant. Is it actual hires or are you?
the health department provides 2 specialists for us to provide all these services, assessment, treatment. They coordinate all the services. So it's all the services that the health department provides, both programs, the SNAP program and the mental health program.
So it's your department funding that from?
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Thank you. Okay, can I get a motion to approve item JPSP 007223? Recommendation for a resolution authorizing the execution of an agreement between the County of DuPage, the Sheriff of DuPage, and Fortress Plus Solutions LLC for the lease of facility space for a 5-year contract for the period of December 1st, 2023 through November 30th, 2028, for a contract total not to exceed $1,579,509.60. Any discussion on that? Okay, got Member Eckhoff. Okay, so Member Eckhoff first, and then I'm writing down.
I know we're looking at building a new transportation building, so I was hoping that there was gonna be some consideration or there'd be room enough to store these vehicles at that site in the future. This is pretty expensive. I think we're looking.
Absolutely. We're looking at it. This lease term, 5 years, is about what we need to, because we heard before from the DOT project, it's about 4.5 years. We are looking at repurposing the yellow freight building potentially to move that. But in the meantime, we need this lease in order to store the equipment. And then that is absolutely a part of our planning for the DOT project.
Thank you. Next we have Krajewski, Ozog, and Guston. So Member
Real
Krajewski.
quick, is there an out in that lease or is it 5 years?
We're looking, I do not
Yes.
think there's an out in, let me look and see.
That's fine.
Maybe maybe there is an out in there. Is it a 1 year out or what is it?
Well, that's fine. You can get to me later.
Well,
Thank you, Member Krajewski. Member Ozog.
I really concur with your remarks about looking forward to the future because we also need to think about the storage for the clerk's office as well. So
Sure.
as Nick said, we'll see what develops about the yellow freight building and come up with another name for it. I
Yeah.
think that would be a good idea.
Yeah, exactly.
But at any rate, but thank you. And I think but this gives us a lot of time to figure out what's going on.
Yeah,
So,
we need a little interim solution, so this is it.
thank you.
Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I too wondered if there was an out provision in the contract, but also, is it the policy to have all of the equipment in one location versus multiple locations, for, safety reasons?
That's an operational decision by the sheriff. I can tell you right now, it's spread all over creation, asking favors for people. But as far as storing it in one versus multiples, that's a policy decision by the sheriff.
Okay, so the sheriff will look at that.
Nick, this is Dan Doty from the sheriff's office. We are gonna leave some things up here north in the county as well, so it's not everything that we're moving down there, but the vast majority of the vehicles, we want to put them together, especially the new command post that we're hoping to show you all here in the near future. We took delivery of last week. We don't have a facility that's readily accessible for us that houses it. It's actually just too large. So that's going to be one of the first things that we move down there.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much.
Member Desart.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I think Deputy Chief Bilodeau touched on this, but why is this happening now? Where have all of the vehicles been stored up until now? And some of the larger vehicles, I understand we're not going to be able to take possession of them until like 2024. So again, why is this on our agenda today rather than keeping the equipment where it's currently being stored? Thank you.
So this is something we've been discussing for quite some time. If the board members recall, we actually talked about this last year or even longer ago than that about building a garage. We didn't do it. Right now, we have stuff parted out all over the county. The largest of the large vehicles we actually picked up last Wednesday. It's here. It's being temporarily housed in an OEM garage until we can get this other garage. This stuff is just spread out all over the place. And the vast majority of this equipment that is going to be moved in is actually right now down in Joliet, which makes it not readily accessible for us in DuPage. We have to get down to Joliet to get it. So it's actually bringing it all home so that it's here for us and for the residents of this county in this area.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I didn't realize we took possession last week. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Desart. Member Zay.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You know, I know we need this facility. I hope that we're gonna continue to look at something that's more centralized in the county. I mean, this is way on the far side. I'm just concerned for my residents, if there's a situation, how long it's gonna take to get a vehicle all the way from Burr Ridge to, the opposite side of the county.
Well, like I said, they're not all gonna go there. I don't want to discuss where, in an open session where some of these armored vehicles are still being held. But rest assured, Mr. Zay, we have vehicles close to you, sir, if you need them.
Thank you. Member Krajewski?
Yeah, this place in Cook County is how big is it? How many square feet is this?
This is not in Cook County, sir. It's down in Burr Ridge. It's in
Oh,
DuPage County. And it's over 11,000 square feet.
11,000 square feet? Okay.
Says the lease shall be executed. in Cook County. It said the lease shall be assigned to Cook County, so that's where. Is that where their business is? I mean,
I believe that the business is located in Cook County, but this particular property is in Burr Ridge in DuPage County.
Okay.
11,000 square feet?
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, thank you, Deputy Chief Bilodeau. Let's see, moving on. Can I get a motion to approve item 233735? Recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Perkin Elmer US LLC for the purchase and installation of a new ultraviolet visible spectrophotometer instrument for the Sheriff's Office Crime Lab for a contract total not to exceed $15,165. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Okay, we're on to resolutions. Can I get a motion to approve FIR 026723, additional appropriation for the drug court fund in the amount of $22,670. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve FIR 026823, additional appropriation for the MyCap Fund Company 1,400 in the amount of $27,592. Any, all in favor? Oh, sorry, any discussion? Member Guston.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess I'm kind of new to this MyCap fund and what it does, so I'm hoping that staff can elaborate as to what it's about and what the funds are used for.
We had a drug court fund and a MyCap fund budget. It was paid through service fees for people that were sentenced. Those fees are no longer available. So eventually we're going to combine those two budgets into the general fund. This appropriation is to cover increases in salaries for staff in those two programs per the union contract.
And can you explain the MyCap program?
It's our wellness court, our mental health court, stands for mentally ill court alternative program. And it's a specialty program for all probationers who have mental health issues.
Great. Thank you. Thank you.
Member you?
Thank you, Chair Evans. So for this resolution and for the one before, and also for the resolution for the one after, I just wanted to know, when it says additional appropriation, does this mean that it's going to be additional money coming out of the general fund, or is it from contingencies?
This is left over from the two, the drug court fund and the MyCap fund.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve FIR 26923, additional appropriation for the neutral site custody exchange fund in the amount of $25,260? Any questions or comments on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Can I get a motion to approve FIR 027023, acceptance and appropriation of the comprehensive law enforcement response to drugs grant for plan year 24 and in the amount of $150,000. And wait, was there a second on that? Okay. Can I get any discussion? Okay, all in favor? Okay, any opposed? That motion carries. Now, moving on to action items, can I get a motion to approve JPS CO 923 amendment to purchase order 28461 serve issued Journal Technologies, issued to Journal Technologies, Inc. for an increase of $75,482 for monthly storage costs for electronic evidence and data and cost to build an interface between the jail tracker and case management system for the Public Defender's Office for a new contract total amount of $831,557. Any discussion on that? Member you?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So is it possible for our IT department to build that interface or even to build something for storage? Because I know that that's something that they have done in the past for other systems. And I also wanted to know if this was a foreseeable cost, that they would need this interface.
Okay, thanks.
Hi. So there's two parts of this. The interface with Jail Tracker was not foreseeable because that was a decision the sheriff made to get a new management system. So we had an interface already built for Offender Track. That was an old program for them, but they made a decision to go to Jail Tracker. And so then we wanted to be tied to that. So that was not foreseeable by us when they announced that they were going to do that. We did the work to make that interface. The other part of this is storage cost, which is a monthly fee. I don't remember what your first question was, sorry. Oh, is it possible for IT to build it?
Yes.
When we contracted with Journal initially, that was a thing that was discussed with IT. But these systems are incredibly complex. There's lots of interfaces and I think they made the decision with us that it would be better to get something that someone had already built and that could modify and that they really control. So the storage isn't here. It's not on a server here. We don't have to maintain any of that. All the maintenance, storage, all that stuff is offsite in the cloud. And that's just I think a better model from IT's perspective. And I took that recommendation. Yes.
Just ask one follow-up question. Would it be best practice for the sheriff to coordinate with the Public Defender's Office in the future before, I guess, coming up with another tracking system in the future? I don't know. I was thinking about that.
Well, I mean, I'll let Dan go.
Jeff, if I may, this is Deputy Chief Bilodeau again. That old system, Offender Track, was a Motorola product that sunsetted. So we just didn't have an option to do anything. We had to go to something else. And we were very transparent with that because it went out to bid. It went through the full county board. This was a gigantic undertaking for us. So all of our partners knew this was happening. We simply didn't have another option.
Thank you.
So yeah, so they told me, I didn't know until they presented their budget last year. My budget was already submitted. And so that's why it wasn't in my budget because they had just started that process during the budget process last year.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. York. Moving on to grants. Can I get a motion to approve 233737 GPN 5923 fiscal year 24 law enforcement camera grant in the amount of $142,611.45. Any discussion on that? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. And can I get a motion to place on file item 233738, Public Defender's Office monthly statistical reports for September and October 2023? Okay, all in favor? Oh, sorry, I'm sorry. Any discussion? And that's Member Guston.
Thank you. Quick question. If I don't need it now, but in the future, somebody maybe can email it to me. I went through all the graphs and everything in the statistical report. And I'm wondering if I could get something which identifies the change in the bond court stats, pre and post Safety Act. You don't have to do it now, but if you could send that over, that would be helpful, unless you know it off the top of your head.
I do. So if you look at the charts, there is a line for bond court only. That's the
Mhm.
old version of bond court. So that's gonna go to 0. And then pretrial first appearance is going to replace that. So the numbers are similar. So if you look at like
Right,
the
I see it.
October report.
Just
right?
for well, I'm looking at September, but okay. So basically anything bond court only, that's
Correct.
Safety Act, anything after. is
Should be
post.
pretrial first appearance, correct?
Okay, great.
And then pretrial detentions are also a part of that.
Great. Thank you. Thank you
Sure.
very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, Member Desart?
Thank you. Jeff, while you're up there, I just had a quick question. It just occurred to me, but do we have any statistics on pretrial release and those defendants who remain incarcerated? Any data on how many defendants get released based on the Safety Act?
I don't
Versus how
have the
many are-
numbers compiled. We are tracking each
Okay.
day. And I know Mr. Berlin actually does have statistics in
Oh,
terms
okay.
of percentage detained based on how many detention petitions are filed and things like that. I think the numbers you're gonna see now, though, are gonna be different than they will be in a few months or maybe 6 months, because both sides, since the law isn't incredibly clear in some instances, the state's attorneys, for instance, will file a petition to try to detain someone that we legally don't think is detainable. Right? And so I think there's a figuring out what the law really says.
Mhm.
And until we get some feedback from the appellate court, a lot of it is arguable on both sides. And so I think it'll settle eventually. So right now, I think both sides are pushing to see where the lines are.
Gotcha. Thank you, Jeff.
Sure.
And just for conversation's sake, I get press releases from the state's attorney's office, and I've been very impressed with our judges here in DuPage County. A shoplifting case, the person gets out. If it's a more violent act, the pretrial releases is denied. So, I mean, it appears to me just through press releases that it's working out very, very well, thanks to our judges. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. Any old business? Any new business? Okay, hearing none. Can I get a motion to adjourn? Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you. Oh,